Hey there everyone, it's Joe from Ainslie's Gold Silver Standard Insights, brought to you by goldsilverstandard.com and ainslieBullion.com.au. It's TA Tuesday, where we take a look at the price of gold, silver, and one of the cryptos. Very quickly, we'll look at Bitcoin at the end. It's based on this wonderful piece of news from Josh Lang. I'll post a link below on the Ainslie website for you to follow, or to the Ainslie website for you to follow along too. It's entitled Expect Volatility. It's all about how Bitcoin has extremely low volatility historically at the moment, and that has to give, something has to give. So we are probably very soon going to expect some price explosions, either to the upside or to the downside. Where do you think it's going to go? And Josh makes a case for both to the upside and the downside in this. So check out that article and we'll touch upon it in just a few moments. But of course, we talk about gold and silver first. You're looking at gold here on the US dollar price right here, $1,650 roughly on the daily time frame, and it's the tradingview.com website. Let's take a look at where we were last week. I'll pop my indicators on. We're actually hovering around about the same price 7 days ago, $1,650. The title of last week's video was More Gold and Silver Pain to Come. I did posit that we probably, or more likely, going to experience some lower prices rather than breaking up through this 1660 level and just onwards and upwards. And that has come to pass in the last 7 days. A move all the way back down to this bottom right here of roughly $1,618. Call it 1,620 if you like. We did not see, though, a lower low. It did not post a lower low, either on the daily time frame or on the weekly time frame as well. So that could be considered to be a double bottom. Would you consider that to be the case? Well, that's quite possible. Double bottoms tend to, and certainly not always, but they can indicate a trend reversal. So do you think we'll see that? Post a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. So let's take a look at on the daily time frame. And the relative strength index right here, we went into extremely oversold territory back at the end of September, came into getting close to overbought territory, and we're back down into oversold. Could we say this is the start of a trend upwards? That's also quite possible. So we don't give financial advice here at Ainslie, of course, so I'm just talking about potentials. So potential double bottom right there. So what are the areas that would invalidate that for me? Personally, if we broke down and held below and it became resistance of $1,640 right there, if you can see that, there's a little spike down there on the daily, and you've got this little area of support right there, 1,640, breaking down there, and then that acting as resistance would then say to me, then of course we would be moving down further. And if we're moving down further, my next big target, as I've been talking about, $1,560 right there. And if we do keep $1,640 as support, come down maybe on the daily, maybe today, have a couple of tests of it, and then up again, you can just pause this video for my targets, my resistance points moving higher as we go. That's it for gold. I'm going to keep it very short and sweet. Let's take a look at silver. Another great move in silver, similar to gold. So last week, let's have a quick look. Gold and silver right here. Where are we? $18.66. So that was on Tuesday. Let's get rid of that. Tuesday right here, the 18th. Yep, 1866, so around about here. So I was talking again about more pain to come. I did think we would see lower prices, and we did, but only for a couple of days. Silver was actually a little bit more resilient than gold was. Right here, 1,820. So that did act as support, which is fantastic to see. $18.20, all the way back up through the $18.80 resistance level, and a breakout, but a currently failed attempt to break out and hold above the $1,940 level, as you can see on the daily, and I'll pop it down to the 4-hourly. It was a failed move, and oftentimes from a failed move is a fast move in the opposite direction. Looks like we're starting to knock on the door though, right here of $19.40. So this is very interesting. Could we see a higher move in silver? Again, what do you think? Where do you think we're going in the next week? Post a comment below. On the 4-hourly time frame, you can see right here a double bottom. That was a trend reversal. So that's when we saw that move all the way back up. So my target's moving higher. Right here, we've got the big move of $21, and we'll save those ones for later. You can pause the video and see my targets moving higher and my targets moving lower. What would invalidate this? Of course, breaking down below $18.80 and into this range, I would suggest that we were then heading back down further, and then $16.90 is my current next low on silver. Where do you think we're going? And give me your reasons why. Post a comment below. Okay, that is gold and silver, and let's just talk about Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin, right, we'll do this particular chart. So, Josh has been talking about the extremely low amount of volatility. BTC has been trading with an incredibly small $870 range. Now, that's just 4.6% separates the weekly low of 18,793 from the high of 17,662. And Josh is saying, as we have mentioned, these periods of extreme volatility for Bitcoin are very rare, and I agree with that. And there are historical examples that have broken both higher and lower with extreme force. So again, I'll get you to look at this particular article and scroll down right here for the bull case and the bear case, which is right here. So let's have a look at our targets moving lower. Of course, we've been talking about, if you're new to my little brief price analyses every single week, then you will want to know that the low for me is right here at the previous, one of these previous highs. Let me get rid of that, sorry. And right here of that $14,000 level. So that's where I think is the absolute low for me. I'm not a 10K person. I don't think we're going to 10K or 9K, but it's getting close enough, I think, matching this particular high right here. Is where the low is for me personally, and I don't see a lot of room in between. The only other area I could see us bouncing from if we don't hit 14K would be around about here at your 16.5 right there. So once this very low amount of volatility ends, in which it will, historically it always does, of course, if it goes to the downside, as I said, my targets moving lower would be a support level of $16,400, and if that is not the ultimate bottom, yeah, then yes, I think $14,000, roughly $13,500 to $14,000 would be the absolute low for me. Again, that's my personal view. It's not the financial advice. It's not financial advice, and it's not the advice of Ainslie. And if instead we have a melt up after the low amount of volatility, if we're just going great guns from here, tell me, do you think that's going to be the case? What are the resistance levels? Big resistance levels for me, of course, is this huge uptrend line. This goes all the way back till 2015. If we were to hit this line within the next, well, by the end of this year, you'd be looking at a price of around about, just let's go to the end of the year. Before the end of the year, a max resistance level or a max point of $27,500, let's call it, roughly there. And I'll leave it at that. You've got some little interim targets as well. Of course, this one right here, if you can see that at 22,500, that's a big level. And this level right here of $25,000. So they're the resistance points moving higher for me, and my levels of support moving lower. I am biased to the downside. I think we are going to see once the low volatility becomes extreme volatility, I think we're moving lower, more likely than higher. But again, not financial advice here at Ainslie. And tell us your thoughts. Are we heading lower or are we heading higher? And give your reasons too. So post a comment on the YouTube channel. And of course, I want you to subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Ainslie Bullion, for the wide range of informational videos 5 days a week. And while you're on the internet, head over to goldsilverstandard.com, because that's bringing gold and silver into the digital world. As we say here in the end, balance your wealth in an unbalanced world. Take care. We'll speak to you next time.